This episode is brought to you by the Old Dominion Athletic Foundation. Because of you, we create winners in the classroom, in athletic competition, and in life. Become a member today.
Yeah.
Saw you holding the note there, CB.
Those, yeah.
Yes. Well,
I love
welcome
it.
fans to the Hudson Homers podcast. It's a victory Monday here. Went 2-1 over
Yeah.
the weekend against Quinnipiac. Got CB here. Got Coach Finny here. CB, I'll start with you. How was your weekend?
Hey, it was great, man. We got to watch baseball. Thought I almost died on Friday. That was fun. It was cold. It was rough. But then, of course, Saturday was beautiful, and we've got 2 out of 3, and got to see actual baseball at the Bud it's not the Bud anymore, at Town Bank Field at Elmer Family Baseball Complex.
I do think we can still call it the Bud though, because it's still the Bud Matheny Baseball something. So it'll be the Elmer Family Baseball Complex, and I think we can still call it the Bud. I really do.
Okay.
Until somebody tells me not to.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect any of our corporate sponsors
of
the field. We appreciate them. But it was awesome. We were out there watching baseball. It was fantastic. Got to hang out with Gary some, watching the game. It was great.
Yeah, Friday, I know it got a little cold where you were standing, CB, behind the plate, but I'll tell you, I was in the left field stands on Friday, and I really didn't get any cold until maybe the bottom of the 8th. Like the way the sun comes through, it was nice. But everyone that was involved in getting that outfield seating together gets a pat on the back today. It looks fantastic. Cool. It doesn't look temporary. I was blown away when I walked through there, just how well done it was.
Yeah, again, we're super grateful for that. Our administration, Dr. Seelig, Ashley Schumacher, everybody that put that together, Bruce Stewart, Rick French, our president, Brian Hemphill, all of them, went overboard and above and beyond to give our fans a nice place to watch games from. Although it's a little far away, but it is what we are this year. And, I told the guys.
It's a lot closer than Hampton, though.
Yes, it is. Yeah. We got to start the tradition of pointing to those stands when you hit a home run. And so Dallas hit his on a Saturday, and I was pointing out there, and he was like, what? And I was like, we'll get used to it. We'll get, as we go.
Yes, but great crowds on both days. I mean, Friday, I couldn't believe it walking in there. I mean, I think the temperature said it was 40-something degrees. Didn't feel like it, but it was hard to find an empty seat up there. And what we've dubbed the litter box there in right center, that was full of Quinnipiac parents and family. Like, it looked great in the outfield, and a really great job our fans to show up for the first games back.
Yeah, we're very appreciative of that. And I don't know what our people are doing in terms of counting heads, but they're shortchanging us a little bit. They announced like 220 for Friday, and I know there was more people than that. So
no way.
I think they gotta, they gotta learn that you're supposed to count everybody that's even potentially in the ballpark for
everybody that walks through the gate.
Yeah. Anybody that walks down Elkhorn Avenue going to the chemistry building counted. So
yes.
That's how most people do it anyway. But, pretty good weather, especially Saturday. Got a little chilly last few innings Friday, but overall, nice weather. And, it's never perfect when you have to play a doubleheader, especially right out of the chute. And, it is what it is. We had to get in. And yesterday, it looked like a good move because it kind of rained all day. It was crappy. So we'll get back to work out on the field tomorrow and ready for this week's games. But we can go through, if you guys want to, just talk about game one. Any questions, comments? I thought, generally speaking, 15-5 was the final, and I thought Derek Kuski threw the ball well. He had the one inning, he gave up singles and 3 runs, but he settled back down. 9 strikeouts, no walks. That's a good workmanlike first performance by him. And the bullpen guys came in and threw the ball pretty well for the most part as well. There, it's good to see Nick Sulpizio get back out there, throw the ball well for us. And I thought, the downside of that game is MVA Marcus Van Alstyne, hurt his elbow. He's going to see, get it looked at tomorrow. So it doesn't sound like it's great. We'll keep our fingers crossed. He's been throwing the ball real well for us out of the bullpen, so that was unfortunate. The kid's never had an arm injury. It's like crazy how that can happen.
Yeah, such a good guy.
Yeah, good guy, great teammate, and so we'll hope for the best with him, and then keep our fingers crossed as we try to find that out. So we swung the bats really well. I thought our approaches were good. We took advantage of a little bit of their wildness. And one of the things we've stressed this year is just being tougher and not moving our feet on inside pitches and not jumping out of the way of breaking balls in particular, breaking ball off-speed pitches. And I thought our guys all weekend did a good job of that. Really frustrated their game 3 starter by we hung in there and got hit 4 times, got him out of the game. So we took our walks. We were very opportunistic. Zach Lake was probably the hero of that game with 5 RBIs. Comes up, hits a double, his first at bat of the season, drives in a couple, gets us the lead, and Zach had good at bats all weekend, so he was very solid all weekend. I thought Maverick Stallings, same thing, good at bats. The guys are playing like 2 fifth-year seniors you'd expect them to play. And so is Scotty Young. Scotty had a good weekend. He was kind of in the middle of a lot of scoring opportunities for us and making things happen with the bunt game, slash game, getting hits and running the bases, like his hair's on fire like he does.
Yeah. Everyone in the starting lineup had at least one hit in the first 2 games, Friday and the first game on Saturday. As far as I could tell last season, we didn't have a game where that happened. So I think right off the bat, that's just getting that production up and down the order, is getting the ball in play, drawing walks, whatever they got to do. But to have everyone in your lineup get a hit in the first 2 games of the season is pretty impressive.
I thought our at-bats were good. We were swinging at strikes. We weren't chasing. And this is what we talked about today. It was different in game 3. Was that a focus thing? Clearly it was, because we chased more. We lost our shape in the box more. It just wasn't the same looking group. And, obviously the results speak. We scored 15, and we scored 5, and we struck out 15 times in the 3rd game. And so most of those weren't strikes. It's just chasing too much. And, were we just tired? What was it? Those are things that we call them mental Mondays once the season starts. And those questions you ask, you try to look at some film and you try to get in some guys that need a little extra love and talk about it. And some of it's mental, most of it's mental usually. And some of it's, some physical adjustments we need to make as well. So, but I thought game 1, we played a pretty complete game. We caught the ball in defense for the most part well and pitched it well, made them swing the bats. And, they're a scrappy bunch, man. They're not a pushover by any means. Right. They're well coached. They had a very veteran pitching staff. You could see that. And so it was really good to get off to a good start like that in game 1 on Friday.
They were just very competitive. At no point were you could see them packing the in. They were fighting the entire time.
Yep. And I think that's a tribute to John Delaney, their head coach, and the coaching staff, and the kind of kids they get. So, and I remind you guys, last time they came down here in 2018, they beat us.
Yeah,
they won the series against us. So, game 1 of the doubleheader, game 2 of the series, I thought guys came out, beautiful day. BP was so nice, working up a sweat and just not shivering. And the guys were going to be ready to play. And I thought JJ Gaddy came out and was a bit too amped up, which can happen with
That's what I was wondering too. Okay, so
yeah, it's one of those things you got to thread the needle with JJ. Like you like his competitive nature certainly, but he can take it past the point of it being productive. And so, today's talk with him was certainly about that because he wasn't sharp at all. Like he's been so much better than that against us, and he was kind of all over the place and, at 67, 68 pitches, after 10 batters, 3 in the third, and just had to go get them. So the good part of that was a guy that, had been hurt and hadn't thrown the ball well, so far in his young career here, just got back all the way healthy and threw the ball real well for us, a couple inter squads right before we started. And we dumped him into the game, and I thought he was fantastic at Jayce Park. Really good, kind of electric out there almost. He hasn't been built up for a number of pitches yet, so he threw, I think, an inning and 2/3, maybe
21.
Time to go get him, yeah. And that game as it went on, again offensively, like we did some good things. Same type of approach, I thought. It was a better day to hit. The ball was jumping. Tyler Dallas hits a home run, a double. Matt hits one off the wall in center field. We had a couple other extra base hits. I thought the guys ran the base as well, and we kind of busted that one open. And then we're able to use some guys, in the pen that maybe just, hadn't been out there as much and needed to get some work. So that was good. And, 10-run rule after 7 was nice when you got to play a doubleheader.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Saved some arms, and we were able to start that second game just a tad earlier, right? It's hard.
Now, is that something that that you and the other coach decide, like kind of before the game?
Yeah,
you're deciding to do the doubleheader.
I'm always in favor of playing 10 after 7. Yeah. I just, it's a league rule for us. I always want to play it because, I just think it's especially early when it's cold, man. It's nobody be out there down 10 runs in the 8th inning. Like, it's just you don't. It's easy to say, well, we can get some other guys in, but like, what are you really doing to them? Like, it's not a competitive moment. It's a chance for them, is all it is. But so we get that W, and again, up and down the lineup, I thought we swung the bats pretty well. So game 2, and you win the series, and I told the guys, hey, oftentimes, not sometimes, what happens in a 3-game series, if the first 2 games aren't close, and you won them, they saved their better bullpen arms because they didn't need to use them yet. And so they had their 2 best guys still down there, and the guys knew it, and we did have the lead. They brought the first kid they brought in out of the bullpen, I thought was their best guy of the weekend. I mean, he pitched great, struck out 8. I think maybe we got 2 hits. He didn't walk anybody. He was mixing that slider and fastball really well. So you got to give him credit for that. I just thought we just lost our shape and our focus. We were up 5-2. We had the 1 inning where we slashed and, Evans got his head down and runs through a stop sign. Just didn't pick me up fast enough with no outs. We got a chance to have a big inning that inning, and we don't. And so it's just a, base running mistake. And then we also made a base running mistake in the 9th with Mac making the third out of third, and Stallings coming up, who's been one of our hotter guys on the weekend. Those are things that we practice, and it can't happen. It did, and we got to learn from it and move on. But, I mean, we probably, and again, not taking anything away from them, we probably lost that second game as much as anything. We dropped we didn't catch pop up in left field that should have been caught with 2 outs to let them tie it up. And the cool part of that was Owen Yarusi gets his first college appearance. He's got to come in, and he's got to come in there with, second and third and or whatever it was. First, I don't remember what it was, but and face their best hitter, Irizarry kid, and he flipped 2 good breaking balls in there and got him spin off one and pop it up the left, and we just didn't catch it. We were in a shift, and TJ didn't pay enough attention to know where the shortstop was, that he wasn't going to be able to catch it. He took his eyes off it for a second, and then couldn't pick it back up with the lights. And to be fair, and this is on me, we haven't been out under the lights very much. It's been so cold at night. We just haven't done it. And so that was if you haven't practiced something enough, you can't really get mad at them too much when they mess it up. So I always believe that as a coach. So we'll keep working on that, and we'll get more pop-ups and fly balls under the lights as we go, and we'll catch that ball the next time.
Yeah, I was impressed really all weekend with the arms you brought out of the pen. You didn't just bring them into easy situations, right? Like Jayce Park comes in, bases loaded, 1 out. In an early part of the game, we're like, it's not clear who's going to win that thing. It was well before we had our 7-run inning. But he was cool, calm, and collected, and just strike out, fly out, inning over, like he's done that 1,000 times in his life. And I think between him and seeing Sulpizi go shut guys down, and even Owen Urusi coming in, that's got to give you some confidence with your bullpen, at least early on.
Well, I think those guys, and Johnson had a clean first inning.
Yes.
As we found out, and he wasn't as good his second inning, but he's a guy that we're going to have to depend on as well out of that bullpen. And some more guys going to have to step up. I think Ben Tanton's got a really good chance to help us. A freshman, he's got a really good arm. And he didn't get in this weekend, but Chris Cavalcante, the big righty with a good arm that I think will get in there and help us. I thought Jackson Okonkwo pitched well. In his first appearance, he threw a bunch of strikes. He gave up some hits, which he's going to give up some hits. He's around the strike zone a bunch. But he wasn't, by any means phased or, he was very, very into it. So I really like his competitiveness.
Yeah, he was sitting around 92, 93 pretty consistently when they got out there. And I mean, going 3 1/3 and only throwing about 50 pitches. I mean, that's pretty solid efficiency with a good fastball.
Yep, he was fine. So that's what this is about. This early season stuff, just figuring out what roles and what spaces and shapes to put guys in where they fit the best. I thought overall we did a pretty good job holding runners. We ran a couple timing picks at first base because they were hopping with Kellen. He picked 2 guys off, and so that worked out well for us. And I thought Mac caught the ball real well in the first few games for sure. So that was also helpful. And we did. One of our guys has been playing great for us. Didn't play, got a couple pinch hits, but he was sick. As I found out Saturday. Jack Slick. Really been playing well for us, and he was just had a stomach bug this weekend, so we couldn't get him in there. And I think he would have helped us in that second game of the doubleheader, just because it's another left-handed bat to put there. So, but he'll get back in there this weekend, so we're excited about that. All in all, it's a lot of good things happen. The things that didn't kind of go as well are all fixable and workable things, and that's why the games are your best, teachers right now. And you just got to make sure that you focus on the things that you can fix, and keep the guys, minds in good spaces and understanding we got a long way to go. And I thought the energy was good. I thought they were into it. I thought Will Johnson played pretty well. Not as good as he has been. He was a little bit jumpy at the plate, but he just needs to play. He's one of those kids. Once he gets in the rhythm, he's a really good player. I would say
he looked more relaxed by the third game.
Yeah, and TJ, I thought TJ and Scotty Young played like veterans. TJ had a bunch of barrels that didn't fall. But he also was really good. We were very good this weekend. One of our things we tracked that we were not good at last year was scoring a guy from third with less than 2 outs.
Yes.
We want to be at 60% or better, and we were over 80% the whole weekend. So we did a really good job. And TJ in particular, a couple times got up and smacked the first pitch he saw, sacked eyes, but he hit him awful good. So that's good to see.
I also want to bring up Kellen Davis. I mean, what an awesome performance by him on the second game on Saturday.
Yeah, he's got that weird gyro. I don't know what you call that pitch. It's like an alien. No one ever knows what it's going to do. It doesn't do the same thing twice in a row ever. So, it's funny because he's a hard guy to hit, and he's very competitive. So that was good to see him come through with that role.
Yeah, and he was pretty yoked up too. I could hear Evan chatting with the dugout and with Kellen when there was a runner on first with that hopping. And I don't know if there's anyone more excited than Evan Holman to see Kellen throw over to first 2 consecutive innings, get the pick off, and then punch out the batter right afterwards. I mean, the loudest the dugout got I heard all weekend was on those 2 plays coming back in, trying to get guys jacked up to go to the plate. So the energy's there, even though it was pretty chilly at that point. I'll say it was cold.
Yeah, no doubt. So we got lots in front of us. I think pitching staff wise, we certainly got to continue to improve. But some of those young arms in particular, are guys that can and I believe will. Nick Solpizio too. He comes in that game, and the game's not necessarily close, but it's still the middle of the game when Marcus got hurt. That's never an easy situation to come in as a reliever. You got to decide, do I want to finish warming up in the bullpen? It used to be you had to come warm up on the field. That was the rule. You get as long as you want, but it has to be on the game mat. Now you can declare, I want to finish my warm-ups in the bullpen, and then you got your 2.5 minutes once you get on the field. So he had been throwing, like he was coming in the game, so he wasn't that far away anyway. So he chose to just come out and finish up out there. I thought he threw the ball really well. I thought he did a good job. Yeah. And his velo wasn't what it has been, but again, it was, by that time it started to get cold. So
yeah. He seemed like he had good control though. He didn't walk anybody. I think he gave up just kind of 2 hits, but they didn't do anything. But I was excited to see him come out and pitch so well, kind of after last season where it just wasn't there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was good to see. So, I thought Connor Schumann did a good job coming in the game and throwing strikes, and Chewy's had a good fall and a good preseason, and he's throwing those sidearm sinkers now. It's a different look, not something you see a lot, and so he's figured out. As we tell the guys, like, everybody wants to throw hard. Some of you guys aren't going to throw hard, so you got to figure out a trick. Like, you got to have a thing. Jason Hartline, once he got over trying to throw hard, figured out I can figure out a cutter and nobody hits it. So, you got to have a thing. And Chewy's figured out that his thing needs to drop his slot a little bit and, try to throw that sinker in there. And he can throw the sweeper from that slot fine, too. So he's, again, older guy. He's been through a lot. I'm hoping that all those experiences will help him this year.
And it was great seeing Cole Lanford get in the game. People might remember we mentioned he had brain surgery back during last season, so that was his first time, in a game. I ran to his parents leaving the game, and they were saying it's the first time in like 6 years they haven't worried about him having a seizure on the mound. I mean, that's amazing.
It was good to see him out there, and he threw the ball fine. He hit the first guy, and then he was fine after that. And look, that ain't easy, man. You come in there in the 9th inning, it's 30-something degrees by that point.
Yeah.
Well, the knucklehead walks out there, though, with no sleeves on and no undershirt on.
Yeah. Well, he's got to show the taco meat.
And I said, man, is that the spitting image of getting on Coach Finwood's radar? Like, what in the world is he? He walked out and I went, what is he doing? It's just like, come on, man. That's a come on, man, for me right there.
Yeah. Tough guy, country boy. He's got to show off.
Yeah, look at me. Look at me is what that is. But he did too good, and we're going to need him, so hopefully he'll keep that up. So we move forward this week. We've got Manhattan, the Jaspers. Great nickname, by the way.
Yeah. A couple of good nicknames this week.
Coming in, and then what are they, the Griffins? Niagara?
The purple, what are they? The purple Eagles?
The Purple Eagles.
Purple Eagles, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
I didn't know that there were Purple Eagles.
There are in Niagara. There are
in Buffalo.
Get there.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So it's because they're so cold.
Manhattan just got into town. Their coach, they were down in Puerto Rico playing in a tournament, and so they're going to practice tomorrow after we get done, and then of course we play Wednesday, and then they're staying and playing Norfolk State this weekend, so they're here all week pretty much. And one of their assistant coaches is actually a really good friend of mine, Steve Engler. He coaches up in the Cape Cod League in the summers. So we've had a bunch of guys play for him this summer. So it'll be nice to see Steve. That'll be fun. And then Niagara, who I actually watched play a little bit yesterday. They were down at Texas State, and so us not having a game, I was flipping through some Sunbelt games, just getting my eyes on some people, and they were playing, and that was one of those Sunday games where nobody they brought in was throwing strikes. So, turned it off. But they've got it. You know, they're always a solid club. I mean, for a long time they were one of the better teams up in that area. So again, it's, you know, good competition. We've got to be ready to play, and it's another opportunity to play at home. You know, we got 4 home games this week, and we want to take advantage of all of them and trying to get better each and every one.
Yeah, Manhattan played some pretty tough teams down there in Puerto Rico too. I think it was Indiana State, Seton Hall, and Houston, and they were competitive in all of those games. Yeah, not quite the same for Niagara. I mean, I haven't seen Texas State, but I imagine they're pretty good, judging by like 13-0, 11-3, 11-0. But you know how that is being on the road. It just makes you hungry to go win the next one.
Yep, no doubt. And we got some calls into Texas State just to get some particulars. That's where when they play in a conference team, it's nice because they'll share stuff with you to talk about that. But before that, we gotta play Manhattan, and we played Manhattan.
It was like 2018, 17. Okay. Yeah, there was the same year we had a tournament with Kentucky and Virginia Tech. That was when AJ Reed was with Kentucky, and he threw like 7 against Tech, and then he hit like a bomb that hadn't landed yet against us the next day.
He was the National Player of the Week that week.
Yeah,
I think he was 4 or 5 home runs that weekend.
He was phenomenal, and the nicest kid on the planet too.
Yeah, and got the win on the mound on their Friday, I think. So yeah, I do remember that.
He's one of those guys, like, and Gary's a big Astros fan. We talked about this a few weeks ago, where he was at the Astros, didn't quite work out, and it's like, I don't know how that guy is amazing at baseball. That tells you how hard the major leagues is.
Yeah, he was big lefty hitter who could hit.
Oh yeah, he tore it up.
There as a pitcher only. You know, Gary Henderson, their old coach, was a good friend of mine. I remember him telling me that story. He came there as a pitcher only. They didn't even know he could hit.
Jeez.
He's like, hey, you want to take some swings? Sure. Kaboom, kaboom. Yeah, you're in the lineup.
Yeah. That's great.
Hey, you look at all the rest of the guys. You guys think this is so hard,
huh? Sometimes that lack of pressure does it, right?
Yeah.
Just go there and hack.
Remember that. But so it's been a while since we played them, but and they've got some new coaches and all that stuff. So I don't know. I know their coach was saying we try to, be good hosts for anybody. Like, teams come down, man. We're going to do everything we can to let you do everything that we do that day. If we get to practice on the field, then you will, and all those things. I just think that's the right way to do it. And their coach said, hey, if we could get on, we really don't have a field. Like, I think they drive like 45 minutes or something like that to practice and play because they're in Manhattan.
Yeah. I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So we try to do whatever we can to help out on those kind of things. And we want people to come back, so we want to treat them right.
Yeah.
Speaking of treating people right, Gary, did you have that image that Finny shared the other day, which was this is pretty great. So, Finny, talk to us about this a little bit.
Are you showing it now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Harley Strong.
It's your Harley Strong BP
okay,
tops.
Good. I only have us on there because I like looking at you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Bailey Metella's little brother Harley is a sophomore at Cape Henry. They found out, not too long ago, that he had testicular cancer, and so they got him in. They did surgery. It had spread, so they started chemo after that. And Bailey didn't let the team, know about this until, late January, I think it was. And he told the coaches and then told the team, and you could see something wasn't quite right when we got back from break with Bailey. And so I think getting that off his chest was helpful. The team immediately made like a video for Harley, and Harley's a kid that's grown up in our cages. I mean, you've seen him there since
awesome
he was
kid,
a little fella, and a heck of a player. I mean, he's a
really talented ball player.
very
Yes,
talented ball player
on both hitting and pitching. Really good.
Highly recruited for his age, highly ranked, all those things. None of that matters right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cancer. Bailey's a senior. I mean, we've known Bailey since before he was Harley's age, and so we've known that family, Laura, the mom, the grand dude. It's just it's a wonderful, Larchmont, Norfolk, Old Dominion family, and we want to be there to support them. And Bailey's a part of our family, and so, by proxy, so is Harley. And so I said, well, what if we do this, and it'll create some awareness. It's a good, talking piece, and it's something that, can maybe help some days cheer Harley up, get him over the hump, whatever it is. And we need to give him one of those jerseys. And I thought about, I don't really wear my BP top because I'm usually in sweats throwing or something. So I think I'm just going to give him mine. And, the feedback, which is never why you do these things, but the feedback we've gotten has been what you'd expect, very heartwarming and wonderful. And we just hope it, when I sent Laura a picture of the jerseys when they came in, I don't know, last Wednesday or something like that. And also Harley, I sent him a picture, and Laura just said, man, this is amazing. Like, he had a rough day today with his chemo, and this is exactly the shot in the arm he needed, and that kind of thing. So we just hope we can be a little small piece of his recovery and helping him stay positive, and just one little thing we can do to help support our people.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, love seeing the support around them. Obviously, we didn't know last week when 2 weeks ago we filmed with Bailey and them. Said nothing but good thoughts, prayers, all that good stuff their way, and we'll keep supporting them throughout the season.
Yeah, and we're going to wear those at home only. So we'll wear our regular BP tops on the road, I think, unless we go on some sort of ridiculous winning streak, which is not that goes.
Yeah, so we wearing them in the game.
I got to ask you guys some advice. So you've seen the Swinging Lion BP hats.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out, like, should we wear that with one of our jerseys as a game hat? Should we wear it with the Navy? Wednesday, we're going to wear our new white, just all white. It says Old Dominion on it. It's just like gray. It's a very nice looking unit. You could wear it with that because the white is just all white, navy, gray. The Swinging Lion is just basically navy and white, so it would match. I don't know. Should we wear it with the navy top?
Yeah, I mean, you can wear it with it. Start wearing Wednesday, see how you feel. I think you wear it with the Hudson, because you still wear a navy hat with the Hudson anyway.
Yeah, we do. That's right. Yeah, absolutely, we do. Yeah.
I say just keep throwing them in games and see if, like I said, when you win wearing it, you keep doing it. And,
see how it out.
Yeah, they're pretty sick hats. I mean, our OD logo is already great to begin with, so that's one nice thing we have going.
They look really good on the on-deck circle warm-up spots, too. I got those in a couple of videos this week because I knew the doubleheader wasn't on ESPN+. But it's an awesome logo, and it's just cool that it's unique and back. I have a hat somewhere in a closet I'll have to go find before next week that has that logo on it, but I don't know what condition it's in at this point.
Okay. Well, I think we probably got some pull for maybe we need to get you guys one. So
you know a guy? You know a guy?
I know a guy. So one thing I was pleased with the hats. I will say this: we switched their Under Armour hats, which the game makes the hats for Under Armour. We switched the style of hat in terms of they have a number of different game style. We switched to a little. It's not wool, but it's a heavier. It's a heavier material because our hats were just so light they were flying off everybody's head. And it was driving me crazy. So we switched to a little heavier hat, and I think it's already been better. So
some of those guys last year needed like a little chin strap for their hat so it wouldn't fly off in the outfield.
Yeah, we probably, and now these fit a little bigger, so we got to place another order and probably get some more smaller sizes because we're just about out of those. Everybody usually wears a large or a medium. Everybody wears an extra or large like that. So life in the equipment room, right?
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, all right, Finny. Well, we appreciate you joining us as always, man.
We got an update on the men's hoop score yet? You watching it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look.
I didn't have it
I'm
sometimes afraid to look. Let's see.
Be a chicken.
8:09 to go. ODU's up 63-57. So 6-point lead 8 minutes to go. The Cajuns.
Louisiana. Okay.
Yeah, Louisiana.
All right. Well, tell the boys, Shuey and Jayce, say for me and have fun with them. And we'll see you guys soon. Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs. Thank you, Finny.
All right. See y'all.
Thanks, man.
All right, we're going to hear a quick word from our new sponsor, ODAF, and bring on Jayce Park and Connor Schumann. We'll be back in just a second.
The Old Dominion Athletic Foundation, or commonly referred to as the ODAF, was established in 1964 as a nonprofit organization. The mission of the ODAF is to raise financial support for ODU athletics to ensure that our coaches and student athletes have the resources necessary to compete for championships. The ODAF is integral to the success of ODU athletics and is the channel through which our fans and alumni can partner with our coaches and student athletes for the advancement of the athletics program. Through the generous efforts of our donors, loyal fan base, and community, the ODU alumni from around the globe, the ODAF raises money for student athletic scholarship support and endowments, capital projects, program-specific support, and athletic department operations. Funds are raised through annual giving, multi-year pledges, events, premium seating, and planned giving. With questions about how to get involved in one or more of these initiatives, reach out to an ODAF representative. Gifts to the ODAF are investments in the lives of our student athletes. ODAF members receive exclusive benefits such as priority points for postseason and away game seating, parking, VIP, and hospitality experiences, and more. Because of you, we create winners in the classroom, in athletic competition, and in life. Contact the ODAF and become a member today.
Yeah, sweet little ODAF ad. Check that guy out.
Yes, we have a new sponsor. If you couldn't tell from the beginning of the episode, and that we're moving up in the world here a little bit. Don't worry, we'll still have Afterglow. They've got a watch party coming up there soon, so stay tuned to the ODU Monarchist socials for that. And for those of you who are already following our new Twitter and Instagram accounts at Hudson Homers, I appreciate you hopping on there. We're just trying to give you a little more baseball content without cluttering the other feed because we know there's a lot of other fans on there. But a lot of engagement, not bad. First weekend, Vinny Pasquantino pops up in the replies. So
hey, Vinny. Nice. Vinny was trying to watch the game. He was down there in Arizona bored one night, I guess.
Yeah, I thought about live streaming it, but I thought Eric Bohannon might run back out there and hit me if I violated their TV deal. So did not do that, although I really want to.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, just live stream yourself reacting to it.
Nobody wants to see that. There's not a person that wants to see me do that.
There you go.
All right. Awesome. Well, we got two guys hopping on with us today. We got Connor Schumann and Jayce Park, both through on Saturday. Did a great job. Connor, Jayce, welcome to the show. Thanks for hopping on with us today.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thank you.
So get a series win to start the season. You get two from Quinnipiac. They were pretty scrappy, especially there in that third game. But Jayce, what do you think overall of the first weekend back at the Bud?
I think as a team, we played collectively pretty well. I mean, besides that last game that we lost, I think we were really overall like well-rounded, and I think we played a good series. Just tough playing a doubleheader and just trying to lock in for 18 innings. So I think that the Saturday was just a little test early in the season.
Yeah, Connor, what did you think from the first weekend back at the Bud?
First weekend back, I mean, it's always great to be back in the Bud. Spending the whole last year on the road, it was tough, especially for the young guys, never getting to play at home. For me, it was just a great experience to be back. I'm glad I got to throw in the opening weekend. I hadn't done that in my entire 4 or 5 years here, so it was cool. I mean, it was a good experience. Saturday, long day, but Friday, Saturday, first game Saturday, we pretty much dominated through both those games, and people get tired towards the end of the day. But I mean, it was against a good team, a good opponent. They came out better than I think a lot of people thought they would. But we were able to take advantage of a lot of mistakes and miscues in those first 2 games. And it looks pretty promising from here on out.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good point. Like Connor, you've played at the Bud before, but Jayce, that's your first time actually having a game at the Bud. What was that like for you?
It kind of didn't feel real at first, like that Friday. Like I'm just so used to playing like the inter squads there and just against my own team. So seeing another team there, it was just it was weird, and it just, I don't know. But I mean, it was really fun. I'm glad to be back at home. But it was a little weird when they came in on Friday.
How'd you guys both feel about the seats in the outfield? What'd y'all think of that?
I think if they can keep that permanent, they should keep that permanent because I feel like it's a really cool addition. I mean, it's definitely a lot different than having the fans right above you. You can't really hear a whole lot out there, but I'm sure they can hear us. I'm sure we're plenty loud for them. But I think it's cool. And if they can keep it, yeah, go ahead and keep that.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great addition. Not many like ballparks that we go to have that outfield seating. So, I mean, if we can pack out when the back gets open, we can pack that out, and then the stands, it'd be a pretty cool environment.
Yeah, I think Finny said it would be about 4,000 seats if you have that and the seats in the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think Connor, I think you're right. I think the fans, because they're not behind you anymore, probably can hear you guys better and hear all the nonsense you guys say.
Yeah, and it kind of takes the pressure aspect of away. Like there's people right in front of you just watching you throw. I mean, especially as a pitcher, sometimes it's something you pick up on, and I feel like it takes that element out of it. And you feel pretty free up there, and it feels pretty real.
And Jayce, you got dropped into a pretty tight situation for the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday. 1 out, bases loaded. You get the strikeout, get the fly out, no damage done. But take us through kind of your experience there going out to the mound, going into that situation, and just how you dialed in to get those outs.
So I was warming up in the bullpen, and I was kind of like out of it. I was kind of just in the zone, and I got up to the mound, and I didn't know what the situation was. I asked Marin before he walked away. I was like, "Hey, can you just like tell me the situation real quick? Like I don't know." But yeah, and then it was bases loaded, and I was pretty pumped up. I kind of don't remember it. I kind of blacked out a little bit, but yeah, it was it was fun. It was really fun.
What's that, like 2 types of pitchers, right? The guys that never know what's happening, the guy that knows every single pitch that they ever pitched in every situation. So we know which one you are now, Jayce. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Connor, you come in later in that game to close out the 7th. You're to close out the 7th inning, which ended up being the final inning. No damage done on your end either. What was that experience like for you coming out of the pen? A little bit different situation, but still critical to get that out and hold things together.
Yeah, I think especially Patrick going out for that 2nd inning. Hoping for him just to cruise through that. And I kind of at that point I put my sweatshirt back on. I was ready to rush on the field and give everybody some high fives. He ran into a little bit of trouble, and Pond gives me the walkie-talkie call, and he's like, "Hey, you got to be ready in 2 batters." So I threw the sweatshirt down, and I was running around the whole bullpen because I put my glove away, and so I had to run and go find that, pick that up, got ready real quick. But I mean, that's why I do it. That's why I like being a relief pitcher. Got to be ready for any moment. So I mean, it was awesome, and I go in, and Marin's like, "All right, bases loaded, no outs. Here you go." I was like, "Oh, perfect." So it was fun. It was also my first time closing out a game like that, even though it was a 7th. So it was good to get that feeling.
Pressure.
I'm glad Finny left. He's not hearing this. We got one pitcher that doesn't know where his glove is. We got the other one that doesn't know what the situation is. This is pure bullpen stuff. You guys, this is a real bullpen. I love it.
First weekend, everybody gets a pass on that, and plus the outcome was good. I mean, both you guys shut it down and got us to a win, which ended up being the series clinching win because we lose in extras in the 3rd one. So just great outing from both of you, and get the fans into it a little bit there too. I think so through some of those spots.
Yeah.
So Connor, you've had quite a career at ODU. I mean, you're in your 5th year. first year you didn't play, redshirted. Then I think you was more of a medical not playing in your second year, right?
Yeah, surgery that year took me out for the
Mhm.
year.
Right. Okay. So 2 years in, hadn't been in. Then in your third year, what I'm looking here, was it 4 games? Yeah, 1 1/3 innings. So I only got one out in a game, real short appearances. And then even last year, 13 appearances, 10.1 innings. I mean, in 4 years, 11 innings. I mean, what's that been like? You're here, you're working. I mean, I know you're a guy. You're here working hard every day, and just to not get to a lot of opportunities. How do you stay ready? How do you stay engaged?
Yeah, so the kind of the way that I feel about it, after freshman, sophomore year, freshman year, use that just to get a little bit better. Just improved during that redshirt period. We had a really good team. Staff was plenty deep, so redshirting was the best option for me there. Next year, surgery is a bummer. I'm out, but go to Cressy that summer, kind of learn more about myself. Get that love of baseball back. And junior year, I was just excited to be on the team, and there was plenty of chances that I could have left and I could have hopped in the portal, but I feel really loyal to this program. And at the same time, exit meetings with Finny and Marin and stuff, they never gave up on me. So why should I give up on them? I really like this place, and I've got a ton of friends here that I'm going to be friends with for like the rest of my life. And I'm working every year. Last year, I got a lot more opportunities, a lot more chances. So the way I look at it can only go up from here. I'm excited to just keep working, and I'm throwing in a different slot with a lot of new pitches, and makes it really uncomfortable for hitters now. So I feel like, I got a really good shot to make an impact. And, I just like this place so much, why leave?
Now, because you had that medical year, are you going to be eligible for another year after this?
Yeah, technically I am. I would have a 6th year. I have to apply for it, but that's just one of those things where it's like, it's going to be a last minute decision. Do I really want to do that? Should I do that? But, I'm already 23, so I got to get away.
Still working on that degree. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
still working on that master's,
Dr. Schumann.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting on my
pull a Brett
options.
Smith.
Yeah. Well, Smitty had an extra year on me, so I was in 6th grade when he was a freshman in college. So that was
wow.
That was a culture shock once I got in here.
Wow. And Jayce, obviously your second year at the program, very odd year last year, not playing at home, having to come into weird spots and weird midweeks and things like that. Just what has your off season been like, and then how are you seeing things a little bit differently now in your second year?
I think the first year is kind of like especially, for me, it was kind of a learning lesson. Like I had a lot to learn, and I took a lot of stuff from last season and through the off season. I still continue to work hard and just kind of fix like the mental side of things. For me, really, it was just the mental side of baseball that was really like holding me back from being who I really am. So I think that off season, just still staying in the weight room, still, just doing all the stuff that I would usually do. But I think just locking in on the mental side this off season was really big for me. And it kind of didn't sit right with me that last season. I didn't feel like I did anything to help my team win. So I needed to make sure I changed that for this season. So.
And you had a bit of an injury last year too, didn't you? It was like a cut on your hand, I think, pretty close to the season. And it just
yeah. Yeah, I cut my pointer finger I think during the preseason, and that kind of set me back a little bit. But I just kind of had to work through it.
Right?
Yeah. So I cut it, and then I tried to throw, which was pretty stupid, and I recut it open, and it made it even deeper. So then that set me back a little bit, and I was stuck throwing change-ups for, I think, 4 weeks, which wasn't fun at all.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's part of the mental lessons too, is like when they tell you to not throw, just don't listen. And so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor, Coach Finny was talking earlier about some guys that have kind of changed a little bit of their approach on the mound, whether it's throwing a different pitch, different arm angle, things like that. What kind of adjustments did you make this offseason, maybe the last couple off seasons, to kind of help you become a better pitcher?
Yeah, so the whole sidearm, subby action, it kind of started a bullpen in the key dog, and Rhino was like, "Hey, drop down your slot, and throw a fastball and see what happens." And I threw it, and it held the same velo as how I was throwing over top, and the movement was really good. And we started playing around with sinkers in game from that slot, and I would mix slots. I would go over the top, and then kind of that subby sidearm action, and that sinker really seemed to play well. And so right after the fall ended up, me and Aaron had a meeting, and he was like, "Hey, let's just drop it down full time, see what happens." And I was able to manipulate the ball a lot better, throwing sinker, changeup, and slider now. I never was able to throw a changeup, but being able to utilize that tool, and it feels pretty natural to me. So utilizing a natural tool, it's really benefited me in the way that I can approach hitters and the way I can attack hitters. And it's uncomfortable. Like, I'm throwing all the way from the first base side. After facing a lot of lefties, I kind of asked them to get feedback, and they're like, "Yeah, well, we can't even really see the ball." And when it's running right back into them, it's a hard thing to hit. So I'm excited about it, and I'm still learning it. Started it really in December for the most part. So the more comfortable I get with it, I think it's just on the up and up.
You're going to have some fun videos of left-handed batters throughout the course of the season, because that thing's got to be terrifying to be in the left-handed batter's box for that.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So both of you, since we got you here for a minute, tell us a little about how you ended up at Old Dominion. Jayce, you're from up around Philadelphia. Connor, you're from around Richmond, Midlothian, around Richmond area. And then Connor, you can also tell us why the 757 is better than 804. I'm sure you're a convert now.
So for me, my recruiting process, it actually didn't really last that long. Luckily, I was old enough to get in before COVID. So I threw in a tournament down in Georgia. A lot of college coaches down there. It was one of the it wasn't the perfect game. It was a PBR event. And, that's where Marin first saw me. He gave me a few calls, and he was like, "Hey, let's get you down here for a visit." Hopped on down here, and my first visit and first offer, and I just jumped on it right away. After we went through all the campus and the whole tour, and I just loved it. It's close enough to home. And that experience with Marin's really good at talking, and he kind of swayed my decisions into most of that. But this was kind of my first choice, and the difference between 757 and 804 is just pretty much 804 doesn't have any beaches, and I like being down here in the beach. And during the summer, it's warm, and I can go down there all the time. But other than that, 804 is still my stomping grounds, and I love going back there. So I'm a little torn. I'm a little 50-50 now.
It's a nice place to visit.
Yeah, it's a nice time to visit. Over the summers when I go back home. But I think the longer I stay down here, I might start leaning into staying down here for a little bit longer.
There we go. We got one.
Yes, we technically have two. I've lived in both, and I'll tell you, I'm 757 all the way. If all things were equal and I could do it, I would be down there. Believe me.
Nice.
So, Jayce, run us through your recruiting story here from a couple years ago.
So I was kind of I was a late bloomer. So kind of at the end of my senior year, I started to get pretty good and started to hop on a couple people's radars. And not really until I went to Jupiter, which was late of senior year, and I threw in one of the scrimmages before the tournament even started. And Feynman, who is not here now, he actually just came across me, and he was just watching games, and he saw me, and I guess he recommended me to Marin, and I didn't hear from them until maybe 2 weeks after the tournament. But it was, I don't know, let's just say I'm blessed that that happened, and he came across me just randomly, and he was like, "Yeah, I want that guy." But yeah, and then Marin, he reached out, and like Shu said, he's very, very good at his job, and he's very good at getting people to come here. And I really liked him. And as soon as I got to campus, it kind of reminded me of back home of Philly, the city, and the row home houses and stuff like that. And plus we were near the beach, and I don't know, the environment seemed very great, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
That's awesome. And yes, I think Mike can get anyone to commit. I think at this point, he's pretty solid at that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I think mainly because I wasn't paying attention with the chatter that was going on in the left field stands and other things like that. But intro songs for you all. Connor, I'll start with you. What's your out of the bullpen song that you've got for this year?
Mine is "Fortunate Son" by
Yes.
Clearwater Creedence Revival.
Yeah.
I've had that for three years now, and I felt like it was perfect. At first, I just liked the song, and then the more I listened to it, I felt like, I haven't been the most fortunate player through my college career, so I feel like that kind of fits me as a person, and I'm gonna ride with that song until I'm done.
I bet you that's one of Finny's favorites. I bet you when he sees the list, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a good one."
Yeah.
That and Scotty with Southern Nights, probably. I think I saw Finny dancing a couple times to that one.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And Jayce, what about you?
Mine is it's Delta Dawn. I don't know, not really any backstory behind it, but I don't know. I heard it and I was like, I think this would be sick for a walkout song. And it's a little slow. It's not really like fast paced, but I don't know. I like it. So.
Well, it
works
well.
It gets you in the right space. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you joining us. Obviously, Connor, been a blast having you here all these years. And listen, I'm hoping for year 6. I hope you make that choice. If you don't, that's great. We enjoyed having you. And Jayce, obviously got this year and a few more, man. And you're both just good guys. And I always enjoy getting to watch you, getting to hang out and see you, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you Wednesday and then all weekend. So Connor, Jayce, have a good rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good kids. Yeah.
Awesome talking to them. Both, I mean, great.
Yes.
I was just so happy to see both of them come out and do well this weekend. And that's if you followed along for anything for the Sun Belt tournament the last couple of years, the more arms you have, the longer you last in that tournament. And we had some guys show up this weekend that maybe might be good, might not. We'll see. But a lot of guys stepped up in a big way on the mound. No meltdown innings this weekend. Not a one.
No, like I said, Patrick had a little bit. Johnson had a little bit of trouble there, but again, it's like 30 degrees. Like I can't. It's hard to even judge. I mean, there was one at the end of the game yesterday. The Quinnipiac third baseman dropped a fly ball, and I'm like, it's probably because his glove was a block of ice. Like it's just like at a certain point, it's just like I think I went home Friday night, went to bed at like 9:00 because I was your body spends the whole day trying to not die. Like I was exhausted. So I don't know. They're actually out there playing.
Yeah, trying to stay alert.
But you're right. Every year when people ask like, "How's the team going to be this year?" I'm like, "We'll see how the pitching does." That's really what it's about. You can if you pitch really, really well. I mean, Southern Miss did that a few times where they had like not great lineups, but had phenomenal pitching staffs, and they played really well and won tournaments and got in the regionals. So yeah, if your pitching is good and then your hitting is also good, which we got a shot for both of those to be true this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw up and down the lineup. There's some guys that can hit. Kind of fell apart a little bit the second game of the doubleheader. But what's kind of missed when we don't have the ESPN Plus broadcast, and you're just looking at the live stats or tweets, is we were still hitting the ball very hard. I mean, I don't know. TJ Aiken probably had 3 or 4 atom balls that exit velo of 95 plus, just right at somebody. Even the last bat of the game in the second game of the doubleheader, Evan Holman squared one up to go opposite field, and he hit right into the shift. Otherwise, that gets down and the game is tied. And
there were several in like the 8th, 9th, and 10th innings that were like we're talking about frozen ropes, right? They were just hard line drives. Yeah. Speaking of our hitter, you got our graphic with our players of the week.
I do. We can't forget the
players
of the week.
Players of the week, Kellen Davis, obviously. Which I had it right in front of me where it says Kellen had 2 1/3 innings. Now that screen 2 1/3 innings scoreless, right? 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, just absolute dog. I mean, this guy has been a huge part of the bullpen. Again, just a lot like Connor. He's in his 5th year and he's had more success to this point, but it took him a while to get there too. So again, great to see Kellen doing all that. And then Zach Late with picking up right where he left off last year. I mean, we had him. He was our player of the year, the hitter of the year for the team. He was 7 for 12, 2 doubles. 9 RBIs, 2 runs scored, a couple of walks. I mean, so was that 583 average, 1350 OPS for the weekend? Again, just right where he left off. And as Finny pointed out, you had kind of a broken hamate bone in his hand last year, so he may actually be better this year, which is shocking.
Yeah, I mean, drove in 5 runs there that Friday game, like really set the tone for us driving in runs. Friday, the wind was kind of blowing in, or I guess it was blowing kind of across the field from left field over to right. So I think he had at least one that probably would have been a home run if we would have had the wind we had for the first game Saturday, which is blowing kind of out to right center.
Yeah,
He looked good. I will say it was not super easy to pick the hitter of the week this week. I mean, Scotty Young has a great outing. He was 5 for 10 with 2 doubles. Matt Stallings goes 6 for 11. He got hit by a pitch twice. That did not feel good. I promise you on those cold days. But Efren Morales, Mac Dye, and I think Cash J played really well. Hit the ball well Friday.
I mean, TJ, like I said, had a bunch of production. I mean, when the team hits 380 with a 991 OPS for 3 games, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, they did well. So it was tough. And it was tough on the pitching too. I mean, Kusky, I think he looked really good for his first outing here. Like to get 5 in February is tough to do as a starter.
Yeah, Kusky and Sulpizio and Park, they were all in the conversation that, Gary and I we put our list, and some weeks it's easy, which is it's either a guy was amazing or everyone kind of sucked except that one guy. And it's much better when you have these weeks where it's like, man, a lot of guys were really good this week. These guys were maybe just a little bit better. We like doing this every week. It's fun it's good to point out the guys who are doing great.
Yeah, and we'll be sharing those on our social media channels for Hudson Homers on Monday, right before we record. Also, feel free to use those channels if you're thinking of a question during the game that you want us to ask Coach Finny.
Yeah,
great platform to do that. If you're shy, our DMs are open. You can slide right in there with your questions. Just tell me if you do or do not want me to say your name. I know some of the questions are little interesting sometimes. But Wednesday, Manhattan will be in Norfolk. Guys, they're already there. Be playing. Yeah. That game is on ESPN Plus. I don't know which games this weekend are on ESPN Plus yet. It is not indicated on the schedule. Don't want to put anything out there. Obviously, it's the weird time of year. They can only broadcast one thing at a time. So Saturday, basketball doubleheader conference games, got to put those on. Not sure what else is out there, but we're getting
closer. Isn't that typically
to
just for the games that are on campus? I mean, we might have the lacrosse has a game Saturday, I think at 6, so that possibly could be an interference with Saturday, but theoretically Friday and Sunday shouldn't be a problem. Well, I guess like I said, we'll see. I don't know. I don't make the schedule, but hopefully they're gonna put them on. And either way, get out to the bud. If you can, and obviously everyone can. Some folks we have plenty of family and friends and all that can't make it to Norfolk, which is fair. But if you can, get out to the park.
Yeah, definitely, and check out that outfield. It's nice back behind those bleachers. The big concession area with multiple places to go purchase it. There were no long lines, nothing like that. It is cashless, so make sure you got your cards with you.
You can go inside in the Jim Jarrett to the bathroom. You don't have to go use a porta potty. You can use the volleyball bathrooms.
Yes, or you can use the porta johns too if you just want to run down between innings. They got it. They got it all there, but it's very well done. The wrappings make it feel like it's permanent. It creates just kind of some good vibes, especially kind of between the 2 seating sections where you got a lot of visiting fans and the one in right center. Get some fun yelling back and forth. There was a drop fly ball down the left field line on Friday, and the fans definitely let that guy know what he did wrong. So it's fun. It's a good time. You just can't recommend enough. Go out there, find you a seat you like, because there's plenty of good spots there.
Yeah, I was asking my parents that. I was like, where you got? Because, they have their one spot. They always like to sit, kind of looking right down the first baseline. And so I was like, what's your spot in the outfield? Like, we don't know. I think they sat toward the top. That was all they want. That was what Mom really wanted. So who knows? Mom's cookies remain undefeated. We just brought a bunch of cookies out Friday for the boys. They dropped 15 runs for her, so she was happy.
We're going to
She did give TJ a big bag of gummies. I thought she was like, I got some gummies for TJ. I thought she'd have like a couple. She gave me like a giant Ziploc bag full. So gotta love Mom. She takes care of me.
Yeah. She's gonna be working like the Keebler Elves here soon if that undefeated streak keeps going.
Honestly,
yeah, she's gonna need to hire some assistants in the kitchen to get those.
Yes.
Great stuff. I think like the only other thing I wanted to chat through is like defensively. We got some work to do there. There were a lot of errors, especially on Saturday. Those are things that come with early in the season. I think Cash J at third. He had 2 web gyms for sure. He also had a couple errors, so he cleaned those things up. But he showed why he started third. I mean, that slow roller down the line that he was able to pick up and chuck to first. You got a great shot of the throw over to first. He hit the ball well too, aside from the last game. So a lot to like there at third.
Yeah, and we talked to him. I think at the banquet. I think we'll definitely have him on here again at some point during the year because just a great kid to talk to. He was saying this is the first time. This is his 5th year playing college. First time he ever got to play at home in opening weekend. They were always on the road because wherever he was playing was too cold. But yeah, you're right. I mean, just a lot of it is early season. Number one, you're not in those game rep situations. Number two, I think you're a little too amped up because it's the opening weekend. And then number 3, it's cold and it's hard to stay and focus in perfect mode. And maybe number 4, they're college kids. Some mistakes are going to happen here and there. But yeah, you're right. That was, if you're going to take one thing away, I think, the focus, right? I mean, the focus is where the defensive errors are coming from. The focus is where the hitting focus was not there for the second game Saturday. So I think that's what it comes down to is just, hey, lock in. We're here. You want to be a good team and win every game. Like realistically, they should have come out of this weekend with a sweep. I think we all kind of know that. And so you can say, hey, the reason we didn't is because we didn't lock in and didn't focus, right? Get yourself locked in, as the kids say.
Yes. Yeah.
6-7.
So I think that's finally phased out because I said it enough to my 16-year-old niece that it's not cool anymore. So you're welcome, America, for that one. Yeah, but no, I know some guys pressing a little bit at the end at the plate in those later innings, chasing a lot of fastballs up and away and swinging through them. There was a couple strikeouts like that, but I don't hate that as much as what we saw last year, where guys freezing on strike 3 and going back without taking the bat off their shoulder. So I'll take, if you're going to occasionally swing at one up and away, because, half of those you're going to go put in the seats anyhow.
Yeah, I think there was only like maybe once or twice where I was like, you can't watch strike 3. And one of them was, I think, I don't want to call him out, but I think it was Nick Felton, he was freshman, like his second at bat ever, maybe his third at bat. It's like, hey, you got to know, it's like, it's too close. And again, he's learning that, and not to say that plenty of other guys don't do it too. But yeah, there were a lot of really good at bats. Like you said, we didn't, I think we still struck out plenty. I mean, what do we have? We still had 32 strikeouts in the weekend. So you're talking about over 10 a game. But that's just kind of modern baseball. That I don't feel like a lot of them weren't like bad strikeouts. It's just like, hey, we struck out. It happens. You were trying.
Yeah, and they were throwing better than you think. There's also a lot of wind, and of course the cold. Poor Scotty, I don't know. He hit like a cue shot down the right field line for a double, and I saw him shaking his hands the rest of the game. So I know that one did not feel great. And we're not going to sit here and bash the umpires. I don't think they were a big factor at all this weekend, but Leader Acola behind the plate for game 2 of the doubleheader had a varying strike zone at times, as I heard from the dugout.
Yeah, no, you pointed out the umpire for that game looked a lot like Farva from Super Troopers.
Oh,
and
dead on.
The second you said it, I was like, oh, okay. I was trying to think because I saw him really. That guy's an interesting looking guy, and yeah, he did look like say Carl Ramrod. Come on, say Carl Ramrod. But yeah, so you're right, and that's especially these early ones, you always get a mixed bag of umpires. But in general, they weren't too bad. I wasn't anything where it was like, man, you got to stop this. You're ruining the game. So that's a nice thing you say about umpires.
Yeah, they're tuning up as well. That was a Sunbelt umpire, so hopefully we see them again. Okay. If we see his name on a box score, we'll let you know. You can get your best Vermont State Patrol uniform on or something for him. Yeah.
Meow.
But that's the best way to end it here today. But appreciate everyone listening. Appreciate everyone that came up to us at the games and chatted with us for a while.
Yeah.
I know I'll be back down there for these Friday, Saturday. Keep fingers crossed on all the weather that's coming through, and I'll be watching just like everyone else on ESPN Plus Wednesday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get down there for that one.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there Wednesday. I'll be there all weekend, and looking forward to it. It is nice when you're leaving. You kind of walk through and you can see everybody. It's kind of everybody's in a central place. So that is nice.
Yeah. It's a good setup. So definitely make some plans to get to the Bud. We got a good team this year. We got a fun place to come watch the games at home. No excuse. And thank you to everyone that came out Friday, Saturday, man. Those crowds were awesome. And y'all were into it, engaged. And it was the 9th inning of the second game of the doubleheader, and I looked to left field, and it was still more than 50% full, and that's awesome.
Pretty great.
That deserves some recognition.
That's commitment. That's the kind of thing that, we have the fans. ODU, we know we support the basketball even when they're not doing great, so we can come out and support the baseball. I know it's not inside; it's a little cooler sometimes, but we can put some layers on. It's fun. Yeah, we love it. We love to see it.
Yep, and we do have a final in the ODU men's basketball. They beat Louisiana 83-72, so they end the season with back-to-back home wins, pretty convincing wins. Also, shout out men's tennis.
End the season, they won 4 games.
Oh yeah, they just ended their home season. I guess it's the last home game for them.
Oh yeah, men's tennis. Yeah.
Men's tennis Friday goes down to the very last singles match, and they get a win over Virginia Tech.
It's like a 4-hour match, wasn't it?
It was nuts. Like I went over there for a little bit, then I was watching the live stats the rest of the night. I don't think I've ever been that engaged on tennis live stats in a while, but congrats to them. Great win on Friday. But appreciate everyone tuning in. This is fun. Definitely hop on our new socials if you have not checked that out. Create your Instagram and Twitter accounts. If I can do an Instagram account, anybody can. Trust me. I'm terrible with that thing. Yes, but thank you for tuning in, and go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.